Hey guys, welcome to another MapleStory video, and today I'll be giving you guys a guide on dailies. Dailies, or daily quests, are activities that, as the name implies, you can do daily for merit and benefits such as items or even pseudo-next on cash. I would like to believe that you guys are all acquainted with your dailies by now, but in case there are people who don't have an actual idea of everything that you can do, that's the point of this video. I think a lot of players, both free-to-play and pay-to-win, severely underestimate the importance of daily quests and bosses and how much they can add up to because they tend to not look at it from a progressive standpoint, and I myself am guilty of that because oftentimes I'm simply too lazy to complete them all, especially since I have multiple mains. But since we're mentioning that, the point of dailies is to give players an opportunity to build their characters and get funded, disregarding if it's slow or a minuscule upgrade. So while both funded and unfunded players can profit from this, it's even more important for free-to-play / unfunded players. Throughout my years of playing Maple and helping out high and low level players alike, and from experience and observation, I've noticed that funded players actually conduct their dailies more often than unfunded players when the latter would have a much greater use of it. Exceptions apply of course, but I think the reason why they don't do them as often as the pro players is just because they don't know about them or how good they are. So that's why I'm making this video. MMORPGs are kind of like real life in terms of growth and development. A lot of newer and less experienced players think that to become super funded you have to make huge steps, which is usually associated with spending money. But while pro players do invest more into the game, they also understand the importance and value of doing the small stuff. Nexon has been releasing more and more dailies with every subsequent large update, which means the list gets longer and dailies take more time, so you should prioritize which ones to do over others at your discretion. Free-to-plays, you don't get that luxury unfortunately, especially if you're gunning for endgame, so you'll have to do all of them whether you like it or not if you're adamant about not spending money, whereas pay-to-wins can probably afford to cut corners. I'm only going to be counting universal dailies, so activities such as events, attendance, and so on, they're not going to be included. If you guys want more in-depth versions to these dailies, you can check the playlist that takes you to my old channel down below, in which I elaborate more on these dailies should you want to get a better understanding. There are a few that are missing, and a few of them might be outdated, but it's still worth a watch in my opinion. Just a reminder that every 30 videos I will be hosting a giveaway for my favorite responses to the questions in my videos, so if you want a chance to enter, then make sure you leave a good answer. The first category of dailies is daily bossing. No surprise to anyone that doing daily bosses are a fantastic way to get yourself souped up with a ton of things. The list of daily bosses is present on the screen right now. A lot of these guys may seem underwhelming in terms of drops, but some shared rewards that all of these guys can give are reward points, cubes, and crystals. Reward points count as pseudo-next on cash. They can be used to buy various items, particularly the useful ones, though they are in limited supply. If you conduct all of your daily bosses, you can get well over 1k reward points a day. $1's worth of a next daily just by playing the game. Each boss, they give either 50 or 40 reward points, but the main bosses you can find on the boss list tab are 50s. Nexon unfortunately made it so you can only enter bosses once a day regardless of difficulty, except for the weekly bosses, and Madman Ranmaru, which technically counts as a different boss from Ranmaru. Since you can only enter a boss once a day, you can't get reward points from the counterpart versions. However, there is a way you can circumvent this. If you have two characters moderately strong enough to take on daily bosses up to the likes of, say, Chaos Horntail, then you can have your stronger character take on the harder variants of the bosses while your other one takes on the normal and easy, and then you can get reward points for both of them. There is actually another method that you can use to very incredibly hoard reward points, is that if you can actually play on multiple worlds, the reward points are different per account or per server, which means that if you were to pick up all of your dailies from reward points on one server, let's say Windia, and then you want to do one on Kaini, one on Bera, and then so on and so forth, you can actually earn up to let's say 10k reward points if you want to spend that much time. If you happen to have a group of friends who are also working to get funded as you are, then I recommend doing some of the party quests because party quest bosses are also reward points. Many bosses now drop intense power crystals, which can be traded to the collector for a good chunk of cash, rising in value based on the difficulty of the boss. Easy bosses like Zakum, Horntail, and Rudibus, they give you a little over 1 mil, while more moderate bosses like Chaos Horntail, Pink Bean, Hilla, they can give you a couple. Take it even higher to the big boys like Chaos Rudibus, Chaos Zakum, etc., and you'll start getting into the 10 to 20 mils. And if you're strong enough, endgame bosses like Damien and Lotus can give you stones worth over 20. Mind you, some of them are weekly attempts, but if you think about it, we're talking a free 50 mil a day just by doing daily bosses. And since they're drops, you can do them on multiple characters. The collector NPC that you sell these to will only take 50 per week, but that's still a good, 250 mil a week you earn just by doing bosses. The value of the crystals is split in between the number of party members, which means you'll need to compromise if you want to take on bosses with friends, but hey, Meso is Meso, can't go against that. Next category of dailies are quests. These are usually easier to do than bosses, but are more time consuming. The rewards are about equivalent to daily bossing with the chance to achieve more. Some daily bosses are also daily quests, such as Golix and Komerchi, so you can put those two together, but I have a list of quests on the screen that you can definitely want to start doing on a regular basis. Giving you a too long didn't read version of each one, Komerchi can provide you with various crafting materials for creating cubes or even dropping cubes outright. Voyages reward you with dinaros, which can be spent to either transpose items such as Fafnir into Sweetwater or buying Sweetwater accessories like glasses and tattoos, which are priced well over 500 mil for any server, besides Reboot of course. More so in less populated servers like Windia and Scania where the supply is low and the demand is high. Komrichi Trade Union is the party quest variant of Komrichi, but also has a chance to drop Sweetwater equipment, which is very valuable and can hit easily billions of mesals worth. Galax can provide you with Galax accessories widely considered to be the best in slot for much of your equipment, although not as much as 5 years ago since there are better rings and pendants out there. Depending on the difficulty, you can earn a good amount of Galax coins, which can be used to purchase scrolls, earrings, and rings. And Galax himself can drop Galax pendants and belts, which are not nearly worth as much as the other two, but still valuable nonetheless. This applies only to Superior though. Reinforced belts and pendants as well as the tiers below are worth little if not nothing. If you have an ample supply of spare time and if your patience is strong, you can also do Galax on multiple characters, even weaker ones, because if they can at least do easy Galax, you can get multiple rings and earrings and make a lot of money that way. Critias is less profitable than the others, but the anti-magic you get from the daily quests and monster drops can be exchanged for useful items such as reset tickets, which can allow you to go into bosses twice per week instead, effectively doubling your income. And for those of you willing to go the extra mile, you can obtain Tyrant Gloves within at bare minimum 400 days, or with extra effort, around 300. No one does this though since it's way too cumbersome, but hey, like I said, you don't lose out on anything, so might as well do it. Monster Park doesn't really provide you with any progressive maturation, but you can get some very useful potions that will serve you well. The weekly rewards aren't too bad, but the cherries on top are the experience coupons available on Sundays. Indisputably worth going for without hesitation. Maple Legion, especially when you start building some good foundations, can provide you with huge boosts such as boss damage, critical damage, and ignore defense. Unfunded players will be advancing much slower, but by doing the daily missions you can pick up more coins to upgrade your rank. The Legion coin shop also houses a nice inventory of items for you to use at your leisure, but it's recommended to focus on expanding your Legion board primarily. Arena daily quests such as Scrapyard, Dark World Tree, and the Arcane River are long-term investment activities but can yield huge benefits in the near future. As you know, Scrapyard and Dark World Tree have their respective area bosses Lotus and Damien, both of which are endgame, which will be well out of reach for many players, but even so, always good to do what you can do, such as the quests available. Lotus and Damien can both provide materials needed for Absolab equipment, the most common sought after being the Absolab shoulders. The weapons are also worth considering, but only unless you don't have a perfected Fafnir. They sell for a lot of money too. Far too many players disregard Arcane River dailies due to the tedium of them and how many there are, along with the snail-paced progress they entail, which I do understand, I'm guilty of that myself. But think about it like this. Arcane symbols provide 300 base stat for your class and give an extra 100 per level upgrade. A total of 6 arcane symbols will exist following the Asphera release, and all of them can reach level 15 at max. Even though it will take you a very long time, if you get all 6 symbols to level 15, we're talking a free 10.2 thousand base stat, which is ridiculous. It doesn't scale with percent stat, for obvious reasons, but even so, you can get so much out of this if you just put in the time and effort to. Even if you don't max out all of them, getting half, 5,000 stat for free is still a power boost in and of itself. There's a lot more to explain that I can't quite cover all of because that would make this video far too long, so I'm mostly running you down on all of the major ones, but all resources will be provided to you in the description below for more information should you desire. And do make a habit of doing as many of them as you can every day. I understand that there are way too many to do and many people have more pressing obligations in their lives, but just remember that you don't lose out on doing any of these. Think of dailies as going to the gym. Sure, it's a hassle, and in usual extents it doesn't hurt you for not doing it, but a person who actively exercises will be in a much healthier position than a person who doesn't. It's the same way. If you want to improve your character without slicing your wallet and credit score to pieces, you have to sacrifice the other available resource at your disposal, which is time. Naturally though, make sure you don't spend too much time either. If you guys have any specific questions about a certain daily, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer any that I can give one for. Just make sure to search through the comments in case anyone has the same question that you have in which I answered. Also, remember to include your answer for the question of the day, and I'll be entering my favorite answer into my 30 video raffle. It's probably going to be brought to attention, so I will address this forthright. This video did not do the most thorough explanation on every daily possible, but explaining every daily would take too long for me to put into one video. So if you guys would like me to create any daily guide videos for specific quests, I welcome requests, and if it gets enough support, then I'll try to hash them out for you. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.